Hi, y'all. You get a double header tonight because I thought it was time to just catch up and then see where the next stories take me. So I'm going to go ahead and read an excerpt from More Magic City Murders, which is a sequel to Magic City Murders. I'm just going to read chapter 1. As always, it's available on Amazon and Kindle. On Amazon, it's on Kindle, hardback, and paperback. On on Barnes & Noble, it's just on the ebook format. So I'm going to read just chapter 1. Hopefully you've read the first book. If not, spoiler alert. Go ahead and read it. Chapter 1 is The Wedding. Sophie started zipping Arika's gown as they finished off their mimosas. Arika had chosen a long-sleeve dress with a V-neck in the front and a low-cut back mirroring the design. The top was simple and white, but at the waist it flowed out with a beautiful glittery lace overlay. I can't get over how much I love this dress, Sophie gushed as she took in the sight of her best friend's look. Arika's hair was pulled up in a loose bun with a few loose curls framing her face. She smiled as she responded, "Thank you. What do you think of your dress?" Sophie was already in her gown, which was a navy blue one-shoulder simple A-line design. "I love it. In fact, I can probably wear it again someday," she replied, wearing her own smile as the rest of Arika's bridesmaids joined them. Cynthia Thomas and Madge Sanders gushed over Arika as they took in the view of the bride in her dress ready to walk down the aisle. Cynthia spoke first. "I can't believe you're really all right with Riker's ex, Stella Jones, attending your wedding. Her name is Slutty, so I can't imagine what she's like." Sorry to the Stellas in the world. Cynthia was always quick to judgment. It was one of the things that protected Arika from making some bad choices over the years. Arika shook her head. "I appreciate you looking out for me, Cyn. They've been friends for years. I'm not threatened by her presence here. He chose me," she added with a victorious smile. "Are you ready to walk down the aisle?" Madge inquired, her lips permanently stuck in a grin as she attempted to refocus the energy. "Very much so," Arika stated as she followed her friends to get in position to marry her soulmate, Richard Riker. Before she knew it, Arika was standing face to face with Riker. "You look breathtaking," he complimented, keeping his voice low as he leaned in closer to her. She smiled, about to respond, but the ceremony began before she could tell him how good he looked. "Dearly beloved, Father Franklin began, we are gathered here today to join the union of Richard Riker and Arika Romano." The priest went through the normal steps of the ceremony before it was time for the couple to exchange their vows. "I understand you've both prepared your own vows," Father Franklin began. "Richard, you may begin." Riker's lips curled into a wide grin as he spoke. "Arika Romano, I knew from the very first second you entered my life that you were someone very special to me. The past 2.5 years have easily been the happiest of my life, and that's solely because of your presence. I promise to never take you for granted and to love and support you in every way possible, even if that means you get us into trouble." He earned a laugh from that comment before he continued. "You are my everything and more. I will love you for the rest of my life and for all of time. Thank you for making me the happiest man in the universe by becoming my wife." After he finished, he slipped her ring onto her finger, smiling to himself as he saw her attempting not to cry. Father Franklin spoke again. "That was beautiful, Richard. Your turn, Arika." Arika nodded as she took Riker's hands into her own. "Richard Riker, you are literally the man of my dreams. I'm so lucky you decided to enter my reality, even if the circumstances of our first meeting weren't the best. I vow to love you in every scenario that we will face as a couple, just as I have since the beginning of our relationship, just as you've done. I can't imagine my life without you, and I'm so glad that I don't have to. You are my one and only, and I can't wait to start the next chapter of our lives together." She finished and placed his ring on, just as he'd done. "I now pronounce you husband and wife," Father Franklin began. "Richard, you may kiss the bride." Richard leaned in closer to Arika, wrapping one of his large hands around her neck while he took her lips with his own as the crowd erupted into cheers. Riker and Arika entered their reception hall for their first dance as man and wife. He guided her to the middle of the dance floor as Better Together by Jack Johnson began filling the large room. Riker pulled her in tightly against him as they swayed to their song. "Have I told you today that I love you?" he whispered into her ear, sending a shiver down her spine. She suppressed a laugh as she responded. "Once or twice, I think, but I love you too." The newlyweds stayed on the dance floor until it was time for them to cut their wedding cake. They moved to the table just as Lucky by Jason Mraz and Colby Calais started playing. Arika and Riker cut the first piece of their cake together before each took a turn feeding the other a bite, causing laughter to take over the crowd, including the newlyweds. "Do you want to go back to the dance floor?" Arika asked once the cake cutting was complete, wrapping her arm around his waist. A wicked grin crossed his lips as he nodded, just as their sweet song was replaced with Sway by Michael Bublé. Riker pulled her across the floor until he held her loosely in his arms as he initiated the tango, causing Arika to squeal in delight. As the festivities started to dwindle down, Riker guided Arika out to their limo, which would take them to their resort for the night. They weren't scheduled to leave for their honeymoon until the following afternoon. They were staying at the Renaissance Birmingham Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa, along with the rest of their wedding party and some of their friends and family. Once they were in their suite, Arika pulled off her shoes before she stood from the bed. "Do you mind helping me with my dress?" she asked with a timid smile on her lips. "I would be more than happy to," he replied as he let his hands trail down the skin of her exposed back before he started working on her zipper. "We've been waiting for tonight for a very long time," he practically groaned as her dress started to fall from her shoulders down to the floor. She turned back to face him as she pushed his jacket off of his shoulders and began working on the buttons of his shirt. "I know, but it's going to be well worth the wait, don't you think so?" she teased as she got on her tiptoes so she could trail kisses from his jaw down to his neck. Little did either of them know what the next day would bring. ... Uh-oh, sounds like there's some danger in their wedding world. Keep reading to find out what happens next. Good night, y'all.